Welcome.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel Scheinerman, and I am an associate editor at My Jewish Learning. And I am so delighted to welcome all of you to celebrate this enormous milestone in our study of Talmud. We have just completed Tractate Berakhot, the very first tractate of the Talmud. When I originally conceived the idea for the Daily Dose of Talmud email last fall, I wasn't really sure if it was doable or if anyone was going to want to read it. We hoped that we would have 5,000 subscribers to our newsletter and maybe a few hundred in a parallel discussion group on Facebook. And we were completely unprepared for the overwhelming response that you gave to this project. We now have 30,000 of you reading our daily email and 7,000 of you in our Daily Dose of Talmud Facebook group, chatting away every day about the daf. Our readers come from every continent except Antarctica, but if you are reading in Antarctica, let us know, please. And we have corresponded with you from as far away as Hong Kong and Japan. Before we want to continue, I just want to say that being mindful of this global community of Talmud learners, we know that we are coming to you today at a particularly difficult time for many of us. And to those in the MJL community who may be ill or feeling isolated or simply anxious, we want you to know that our thoughts are with you. And we hope that this afternoon's learning provides you a measure of comfort and communal strength as we move through this moment of great uncertainty together. With that said, we are really excited to come together virtually for a celebration of completing this very first tractate of Talmud, Tractate Berakhot, which means blessings. And we are particularly blessed today to have two amazing speakers, both deeply learned in Talmud, to come learn the very final page with us. So it's now my pleasure to welcome Rabbi Asher Lopatin, who should be in one of the squares around me on your screen, I don't know which. He is the spiritual leader of Congregation Etz Hayim in Detroit, and he is also the head of the Detroit National Center for Civil Discourse and the director of the Jewish Community Relations Council of the Detroit Jewish Federation. He also happens to be the former president of Yeshivat Chovevei Torah. And we are also exceedingly fortunate to be joined by Dr. Ruth Calderon. Ruth is a professor of Talmud and the founder of Israel's very first secular, pluralistic, and egalitarian Beit Midrash. And she also happens to be a former member of the Israeli Knesset. Asher and Ruth are going to learn and discuss this page together, and then we will all have an opportunity to ask them some questions. And in fact, you don't have to wait until they are done with their discussion to ask your questions. You can go ahead and pop them in the comments below, and my invisible and wonderful colleagues at MJL will make sure that we see them at the right time. So if a question ever pops into your head, go ahead and look in the comments below. Helpful links as we have this discussion will also appear there. And I also just wanted to take a moment to say that if you're on a large screen and have the space, if you're not on a tiny mobile device, I encourage you to go ahead and pop open the daf that we're going to be learning together. It's page 64a in Berakhot, and those invisible wonderful colleagues will go ahead and post a link to that daf in Sfaria below. So Asher and Ruth, it is a pleasure to have you here. I'm going to hand the conversation now over to you so that we can all learn the final page of Tractate Berakhot.
Thank you. I am just so honored. I want to start because I've always known Dr. Ruth Calderon from a distance. I remember watching when she addressed the Knesset, and she didn't quite get a hug from one of the members of Shas, students, Muslims and Jews. Wow. So, but then just a half a year ago, I became the executive director of the JCRC/AJC of Detroit. Wow. So I do a little bit every week, a little bit of Torah on Facebook, but
let's try starting again.
Good. I'm just working in the real world.
I want to learn from you because I really don't do it at all. I'm embarrassed.
Oh, Dr. Calderon, Ruth, we need you on Facebook Live. Okay, there's a whole new world. So
Yeah.
I've been bursting over this to start because it's such a strange piece of Gemara. And so let me, is it okay for me to start with the first couple of lines?
Of course.
And then and it's strange. And I do want to say that my understanding is that Agadata, and we're all doing pretty much it's Agadata, it's stories and philosophical ideas, and it's not so much halacha here. Agadata, like Shmuel Hanagid says, if you accept it, you accept it. If you don't like it, you don't have to take it. So I want to assume that we're not necessarily going to agree with these opinions here, if that's reasonable.
I just want to say that both in the Mishnah and in the Talmud, the editors always end a tractate with a Gada, and that's an interesting phenomenon, like to share all these thoughts about blessings and how to think about life and about God in every little detail of life, and then in the end, like a bedtime story, give us kind of a story to make parting easier or to kind of soften things up. So we are just doing the story today together.
Oh, but let's see, maybe we could shake it up still and not make it so easy.
Yeah, I'm not worried. It'll be interesting anyway.
Amar Rav Avin Halevi. So we're on the third line of Samach Dalet Amud Aleph. So Amar Rav Avin Halevi. And Ruth, if you know any insights who he is, who this, please feel free to say. But his idea, fascinating, and seems to be an Eruvin also. Kol hadochek et hasha'a, sha'a dochakto. A person who pushes too hard, I really want to get into this, who pushes the hour, who does something before the time is right, who is over aggressive.
Rashi says, like Avshalom, that tries to push his father and get the kingship.
Yeah, so, and then Sha'adochakto, that person gets pushed off and that it gets messed up. The hour, the time makes it, pushes them away. And then Nebuch, someone who just lets things happen and is submits to the regular clock and the regular course of events. Then sha'ani dachan mipanav, a person really has more things happen for them. But I don't know, Ruth, does this resonate with you or not?
First of all, I want to say I'm enjoying myself already. It's so nice to meet you in study. It's such a nice way to meet a new person. A person, new in a way that we never met. I think that the term sha'a is very interesting here. It has to do with the Chaldeim that will come in a few lines. I think when they say sha'a, they mean the constellation of stars, like when we say Mazal Tov, or in America, Mazel Tov. When someone is born, we mean that the Mazal, the fate that is built in the way that the stars are situated in that specific moment, we hope it'll be a good time, constellation, topos in Greek. So I think when he says docheket hasha'a, it's something
that I'm actually feeling it with the whole coronavirus, because my view has been, I've been very resistant to all these attempts to isolate people, and I worry about what it's going to do for the economy and if it's going to do more harm than good. And yet, I guess you're right. The science of the time, the consensus seems to be we do need to isolate as much as possible. In Detroit, our rabbis just are canceling all services for synagogues across the board. So I guess that there is a time, the way you explain it, that it's the science of the time. There are times when we just have to be put our own gut feelings aside and go with it. But then we got to keep pushing, I think. So maybe the next.
I just want to share also that in Israel, they just announced that schools are going to be closed. And at Alma, we tried to think, what's the right thing to do now?
Mhm.
When there was war or missiles, we always chose to stay in the Bet Midrash and study.
Interesting.
And
Wow.
now it's like a time that we've never experienced before. And what is the right choice? And I think it's a good Gemara to, there is the Sha'ah, do you push it or do you go with it and try to, so yeah, here when Rabbi Yosef and Rabbah, that again is a very interesting pair.
So take it away.
So I must be, how do you say, like, be honest and say that I love Rav Yosef. I have a weakness for him. He's a blind man. He's Segi Naor. He sees light, doesn't see much. And he's a very wise man, and I like his relationship with his students. And so Rav Yosef and Rabbah, it's like a chevruta or a team. And Rav Yosef is Sinai. So he is knowledgeable. He's like Sfaria in a man. He knows it all. You can ask him anything and he knows everything by heart. Whereas Rabbah is Oker Harim. He can take apart mountains. And these two metaphors of personality or talent of a scholar are so interesting and profound. And it's not really something that you choose. People are born Sinai or taking apart mountains.
Yeah.
And my sympathy in many ways is to Rav Yosef, that like is the good, responsible student that remembers it all, especially because I have a very weak memory and I admire people who can just, my teachers at the Hebrew University that can close their eyes and go through the pages and remember. I can't do it. And so there is a vacancy, there is a position in a yeshiva, and Rav Yosef is supposed to, he's more senior and he's Sinai. And then, and Rabbah also.
Oh, do you want to, Ruth, do you want to read it to us first?
Yeah,
and then.
Sure. Mide Rabbah v'Rav Yosef. We are going to learn it from the story of Rabbah and Rav Yosef. The Rav Yosef, Sinai. The Rabbah, Oker Harim. How do you say in English? Oker Harim.
Lifts up mountain, turns mountains over, shake out of the box.
Right. Itzricha lehu sha'ata. There was a time, a vacancy, they needed a rabbi, the head of a yeshiva, and they sent over there to Israel. They are writing this in Babylon. So here is Babylon and there is Palestine, Israel. So they send there Sinai and Oker Harim. Which one of them should we prefer? Eze mem kodem. And the Israelites, the rabbis in Israel sent back Sinai kodem, she'akol tzrichin lemare chitaya. Sinai is first because everybody needs the person that brings wheat. Again, it's frighteningly relevant. Today when in Italy you see the shops are empty, and so scary that it might happen in our cities. And the basic thing is people need the person with wheat, with rice, with food. And the other one that can give you gadgets is like not your basic first need. אף על פי כן, still, לא קיבל עליו רב יוסף. Rav Yosef did not take the position because those Chaldei, the Amrilei Chaldei, because the Chaldeim, the kind of, I think they were like kind of gypsies of the old time that could tell, but they were also a certain kind of astronomist and scientist, and they could read the stars. And Rav Yosef evidently believes that they know the truth. And they told him that you will rule, you will be the king, you will be the head of the yeshiva 2 years. So he understands that if he takes the position now, he's going to die in 2 years. So he decides to give it up. And Malach Rabba 20 Tartishtane. So Rabba takes the position and he rules, he reigns, he's the head of the yeshiva for 22 years. And then, after he dies, Malach Rav Yosef Tarten Shanin Upalga. Rav Yosef is the head of the yeshiva 2.5 years. That's very interesting.
Upalga. He gets another half a year.
That's it. He got 6 months. And what is so intriguing and profound in the story, that Kol Hanach Shani de Malach Rabba, all those years that Rabba was the head, Afilu Umana Leveite Lo Kara. Even the guy that is taking blood out, they used to make themselves healthy by how do you say it in English? Draw out blood.
Drawing blood, I think. Bloodletting.
So even when he would go to get that done, he wouldn't get the person come to his home like someone of in an important position. He would go to him and wait in line with everyone else. That thing of where hierarchy of where is your respect and honor is something that comes back in different stories, like when they go to the butcher. Do they wait in line or do they want to be first? So it's not only that he didn't take the position, for 22 years, he was a simple man. He was another one of the...
So I'm going to read the next piece because I'm wondering, and I could be off on a while, I could be pushing it, could be too much drush. I'm a rabbi, so I do, this kind of homiletics.
Pushing like the heck, yeah.
Right, exactly. So I want to read the next piece because I think it might disagree with this piece because I have a taina against this. Again, Rabbi Avin Halevi, why does it say God, from Tehillim, God will answer you on a tough day, on a Yom Tzara, like these times, these difficult times. And Yisagevcha, the name of the God of Jacob will give you strength. Elokei Yaakov, Elokei Avraham, Yitzchak. Why does it say Yaakov? He's number 3. Jacob, not the God of Abraham and Isaac. Mikan lebal hakore sheikanes be'ovi shel korah. So this shows that I want to see how you translate or just if you want to schlep something, from one place to the other, Rashi says, you can kind of do it yourself. You kind of b'ovi shel korah, do it really well. So in other words, Avraham and Yitzchak, they kind of had it easy. They, and it's really Yaakov's life that was so difficult. And he entered into the thick of the Korah, of the beam. And I wonder if this story maybe challenges, maybe Rav Yosef, I understand he wanted to live another 22 years. Good for him. So he put it, but if they needed Rav Yosef there, should Rav Yosef had said, you know what, maybe I'm sacrificing my time, but you need me now, I'm willing to do it. So did Rav Yosef enter Yikanes be'ovia shel korah? Did he really enter into this? And with all the dangers that were involved there, I know that there are yeshiva students now in Israel that are from America that are thinking, should we go home? Should we stay? And this is a real test of whatever anyone does, it's their decision. God bless them, that they're making the right decision. But Ovia shel korah, maybe sometimes there are times when you got to do what's right, even though it doesn't follow the Chaldeans. What do you think, Ruth? Feel free to just knock it all down.
It's a strong reading. I just want to say the metaphor, I know it. We've lived it. When you are carrying, for example, a table or something heavy, and you're carrying it with someone else. And I live on the 4th floor, so you have to go down the stairs. If you are carrying on the heavy side, You can carry, there's one side with most of the weight, and the other guy has it lighter. When it's your thing, you shouldn't let the other guy that is just helping you carry the heavy side. Right. And you always know when you carry something, where's the heavy side? You know what I mean? So it's interesting that they're using a metaphor that is so, you just know it from your life. Mm-hmm. And they say Yaakov, that is the father of the sons of Israel, he raised them, so he should be carrying them, not someone like Abraham or Yitzchak. So I hear what you say about the responsibility. It's yours, like it's your child, so you should carry it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's interesting to throw it on Rav Yosef and Rabba. Right. Like, I think if someone said to Rav Yosef, I don't know, he has allergies or can't breathe well, you can't live in this weather, you have to go to another weather. People, it's right, science, right. Will go to live in another weather. But here, Beyom Tzara, it's really, even about students from America that are in Israel, it's not exactly their table to carry. Right, right. It's like maybe they have to be with their parents and carry their worry. And at this time, it is our in Israel and yours in Detroit, or as a rabbi, you are now carrying the responsibility and worry of your constituency, because you are there, Yaakov. It's yours to carry. In some ways, I kind of got it, that God of Jacob, it's not Jacob alone, but the fatherhood is kind of the strength that will carry the heavy load.
I guess there's also a difference between Rachel mevakal baneha. Rachel, the mother, cries for her children. She really feels it. Bring my children home. And Yaakov is, go do it. Go do the right. Be strong. It's not a gender thing, but there are two, as you mentioned earlier on, there's sometimes two different personalities. I find that with my wife also. There's, this disagreement sometimes. One of us takes a side, it's more, we can do this. And one of us is the more nurturing side of, really caring and carrying the Ovi HaKorah.
It's interesting also that Sheikanes Be'ovia Shel Korah, it also reminds me of the Israeli army when my son and the young guys carry alunkot. When you carry, how do you call alunka, with someone on it?
Oh, a stretcher.
The way you know your friends when you're carrying a stretcher together. Because with the stretcher, it's difficult for everyone. For the guy that is on top and for all the four people that are carrying. But does the other guy let you, like if you're taller or you're stronger, you're in the front and he's in the back, like he says, if it's your stretcher, go under the korah. It's very kind of alive.
Yeah, that's so. So Rachel, can you guide us there? I am really desperate to do two different pieces here, but how are we doing with time?
We have gone about half an hour, so we should probably chat for another 15 minutes and then take questions.
Okay.
So scan down the page and see what your favorite things to discuss for the next 15 minutes are.
Okay, so can I start? Choose it. Ruth, is
Sure.
it okay?
I'm joining you.
So I want to skip a couple of, the next one is how wonderful it is. Rabbis, when you're sitting at a rabbi's table, it's like sitting at the table of God. We can move beyond that. I love that, but let's.
It doesn't say rabbi, it says Talmid Chacham.
You're right. Or Talmidat Chachamim. Right.
So,
Oh gosh, you're
true
right.
that if you come to a dinner and the conversation is really intriguing and sophisticated and rich, and you feel lifted, you do feel that you're in the presence of something great, more than the food was very good.
Right,
So,
right.
Talmid Chacham.
So I want to move to the next one. The Amar Rabbi Avin Halevi, our favorite Rabbi Avin Halevi, Hadniftar mechaviro, al yomar lo lech bishalom, el alech lishalom. So when you say goodbye to your friend, don't say go in peace, but go to peace. And it gives a proof from Shara Yitro Amar Shamar Moshe lech lishalom. When Yitro told Moshe, go lishalom, to peace, alav yitzliach, Moshe did quite well. Not perfect, but he did quite well. Got a Torah and all that stuff. David shamar lo Avshalom lech bishalom. Very sad story. David said to his son Avshalom, referenced earlier by Rashi, his pushy son, Avshalom lech bishalom. David said this earlier on when things were okay. Oy nebach halav v'nitla. He went and was hanged. So lech lishalom, not lech bishalom. Ruth, do you have any thoughts on this? I have an idea, but
yeah, my dog Zoe, do you see her?
hi.
He's very old. Tell me that for him too. What I thought is that shalom is maybe the most important word in Hebrew, and also the name of God. And how do you come to peace? How do you go forward towards peace? And the two options, one is Beshalom is like, and it's a little bit connected to the beginning of just flow with it, just whatever. Beshalom, kind of don't relax your muscles and let it flow. And that goes to some kind of death. You don't work at it, you just try to give up, or something very passive is Beshalom. And Leshalom, it's trying to achieve the same peace, but there's activity, it's active, it's not passive. You're going towards, you have an aim, you have a goal, and you push towards Leshalom. And so I always forget which is which. But Lech B'Shalom, to someone that is dying, is really rest in peace.
Yeah.
Lech Leshalom, I don't know how you say in English.
Go
like,
towards peace. You're right. Yeah. No, we say go in peace, but really it should be go towards peace, And I agree. I think complacency, we're not in this world to be, complacent. Well, actually, that is the next. There is a piece like that again. Talmidei Chachamim ein lahem amarav. Amar Rabbi Barashi amarav. Talmidei Chachamim ein lahem menucha lo b'olam hazeh v'lo b'olam haba. He says that there's no, just towards the end, there's no rest in this world. Lech lishalom. I just feel that now we're struggling with this coronavirus, but even if we weren't, a million people are refugees in leaving Idlib, and where are they going to go? And we can never rest and be complacent. It needs to be lish shalom. We're not going to find bish shalom here. Whenever we think we find bish shalom, there's more unless we die and we've done what we can do. Otherwise, I love your idea of active.
Yeah. Also to try to achieve peace in Israel, between Israelis and between Israel and its neighbors, that it's work. It's something that you need to work at all the time. Although what you really want to do is leave me in peace. I will live here and you live there, and I don't want to look at it. But in order to achieve peace, also in relationships, the easiest thing if somebody bothers you is to try to avoid them. But as we see in Yoma, if you fight with someone, you need to look for them and to find an opportunity to lelechet leshalom. And so that is that. And also about the אין להם מנוחה. Can I read it for a minute?
Yeah, please, please.
אמר רבי לוי בר חייא, היוצא מבית הכנסת ונכנס לבית המדרש ועוסק בתורה, זוכה ומקבל פני שכינה. Whoever comes out of the synagogue and goes into the Bet Midrash and studies Torah, zoche,
merits,
and accepts the presence of Shechina, of God. שנאמר ילכו מחיל אל חיל, ייראה אל אלוהים בציון. And then אמר רבי חייא בר אשי, אמר רב, תלמידי חכמים אין להם מנוחה, לא בעולם הזה ולא בעולם הבא. שנאמר ילכו מחיל אל חיל, ייראה אל אלוהים בציון. Will not have rest, לא יהיה להם מנוחה. I'm thinking of the term in Talmudic stories, nach nafshei. When someone dies, in that story that I learned with the Shas, Chaver Knesset Vaknin, who I respect and like very much, Rav Rechumei there, only when he dies, his soul rests. Nach nafshei, nacha nafsho. And they actually say that whenever we are alive, the soul is never at rest. And you always think, okay, I'll just finish the test. I'll just, the semester will end. I'll just move to the other flat. I'll have a boyfriend. My parents will, I live, and it's always, there's no rest. There's always the next thing. And that is life. And in the house, this breaks and that breaks. And in your body, this breaks and that breaks. And that means that you are alive. And the only option of rest, actually, is death. If everything is okay, you don't have something to write, and there aren't 3 phone calls to answer, and you have now 3 different jobs that you have to attend to. So I'm sure that people are always waiting for your, you come home, and then at home that upsetting feeling that we are always less than doing everything well. That's life.
Great.
I'm trying to be optimist.
That's great. But what do you do with the lo ba'olam haba, that they don't find rest even in the world to come?
That's disappointing.
What's that?
That's disappointing.
I know, but what's that story, Ruth or Rachel, that I learned it in Hebrew class in high school, the Hasidic story, or I don't know, maybe it's Yud Lamed Peretz, that the tzaddik who dies doesn't want to go to Gan Eden because they don't need him there. He wants to go to Gehenna to help the people
Work.
there.
I only know stories until the 5th century. But also in Olam Haba, they have a Bet Midrash there, and they go on. I think they are not thrilled about rest. And that again is interesting compared to Buddhism. The option of let it go, you're part of nature. So something died, like a leaf in the tree. There's something very beautiful and intriguing about it, and I respect it, and I try to feel it sometimes. But I think the Jewish Talmudic voice is never about you're one of the leaves. You're a person, you're Asher, you have a job, and your boss wants you to work, and you don't have, and rest is not such a great thing.
Right. Well, I even when we sleep, our brain is very active. So
when ואתה תבוא אל אבותיך בשלום, when like the Polish saying that I will rest in my grave.
Right. I think we should finish off the Gemara. So I want to, Ruth, I think My Jewish Learning and our Daf Yomi group wants us also to read some of the Siyyum, if that's okay.
Yes.
So can I give you I'm not giving you, but do you want to do Amar Rabbi Elazar, Amar Rabbi Chanina, Tamidei Chachamim, Marim Shalom Ba'olam?
You are very much giving me, and I'm taking it with the honor and thanks. It's a beautiful thing to do, Siyyum. Amar Rabbi, when I was doing the Daf Yomi, I would make little parties for myself every time I finished. Amar Rabbi Elazar, Amar Rabbi Chanina, תלמידי חכמים ותלמידות חכמים, מרבות שלום בעולם, שנאמר, וכל בנייך לימודי אדוני, ורב שלום בנייך. אל תקרי בנייך אלא בונייך. שלום רב לאוהבי תורתך, ואין למו מכשול. יהי שלום בחילך, שלווה בארמנותייך. למען אחי ורעי, אדברה נא שלום בך. למען בית אדוני אלוהינו, אבקשה טוב לך. You finished. We need the male voice here.
Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. And
הדרן הלך הרואה וסליקה לה מסכת ברכות.
God willing, hadran alach masechet brachot v'hadrach alan.
Amen.
And
Amen.
so Rachel, we have another couple of minutes to finish the Siyyum, or
Is there anything else you guys would like to add more generally or think about as thoughts for entering Tractate Shabbat?
ooh,
Which
yes,
is very different than Tractate
I
Berakhot. You know, we didn't run this Siyyum until a few days after the end of Berakhot because we were running into Shabbat and Purim and all these things. So we thought we'd give people a chance to catch up if they're maybe a few days behind. But now we are into the beginning of Shabbat and we are finding it very different terrain.
yes, indeed.
I want to say,
Go ahead, Ruth. Sorry.
Is it okay? I want to say for the end of Brachot that the editor that put it first in the Talmud was very brilliant because it's a tractate with a lot of air. I always do when I come to the beach in Tel Aviv. I say Baruch she'asa et hayam hagadol. He gives me language to just appreciate and to feel awe and to, Shechianu is the one prayer that in my family we used to always say on fruit, on places, on people. So Brachot is like the conscience. And then you walk into Shabbat, which is much more the doing. And I just want to say as a non-halachic person that finding the option of a daily limud, daily page, or even daily mishnah, or even daily sentence. And my halacha is to try to study before I open any news on the internet.
Wow.
So the first thing after I dream when I wake up, to see sweet words of mishnah and not see news, which is always terrible things. The first lines in news are always all kinds of horrible things because that's what I guess the human psyche is attracted to. So I'm saying to everyone who is listening to us, if there are any, that it's something very healthy to do spiritually, to have something daily. It could be poetry, it could be Mishnah, it could be Hasidut, it could be anything, but to put something between you and that wild world that is coming at you in the morning or in the evening, whenever you do your daily things. And so, chazak ve'ematz, and go on. Just do something small. It doesn't have to be the whole page.
It's so beautiful, and that's so appropriate for the second paragraph or third paragraph of the Siyyum, which is part of the Birkat Torah, the blessing on Torah, which is traditionally said in the morning, pretty close to when you wake up, ideally, right? Very, very close. Ha'arev na Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratecha b'finu v'fi oramcha beit Yisrael. Make Torah pleasant, make it beautiful and nice. And as we're entering into Shabbat, Masechet Shabbat, Masechet Shabbat, I think we got to find ways of making Shabbat pleasant and beautiful. And it's not always easy. I've done a couple of pieces for our Daf Yomi here, and in Shabbat? Is it this reshut? Is it Derabanan? Is it rabbinic? Is it from the Torah? Is it, do you have to get stoned for it, or you only have to bring a offering, a sacrifice? But ha'arev, let's find how to make things pleasant, and especially in these tough times when we might not be able to go to synagogue and we're going to be isolated, might be in quarantine. Let's ask God. We're asking God to help us make this Jewish experience and life experience as pleasant as possible. And then the second line, me'oivai techakmeni mitzvotecha ki'olam hili, me'oivai techakmeni chacham, like make me more clever than my enemies. Somehow we have to outfox our enemies. And
the virus.
Exactly. And we can do it. And especially with Israeli technology, God willing, we'll work on that vaccine, Israel. But
I also love in the Siyyum that you eat sweets. And I urge everyone that finished to eat something sweet. It can be healthy sweet. It can be not healthy sweet, but to finish with that sweetness that you said, ha'arev.
Right.
To give yourself presents or awards when you do something good, because we are creatures of habit. And this is one of the very good habits to get used to. And so, you want to read the Rav Papa bit?
Yes, please.
The kind of a hocus pocus bit that...
Well, Ruth, you were championing the Chaldeans and astrology. So do you want to do the Yiratzon with the Rav Papas?
Sure. הדרן הלך מסכת ברכות והדרה חלן. דעתן הלך מסכת ברכות ודעתה חלן. לא ניתנה שימינך מסכת ברכות ולא תתנה שימינן. לא בעלמא הדין ולא בעלמא דעתי. יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, שתהא תורתך אומנותנו בעולם הזה, ותהא עמנו לעולם הבא. חנינא בר פפא, רמי בר פפא, נחמן בר פפא, אחי בר פפא, אבא מרי בר פפא, רפרם בר פפא, רחיש בר פפא, סורחב בר פפא, עדה בר פפא, דרו בר פפא.
And I will, I'm sorry?
It's nice to sometimes say things that you don't understand.
Right. So if I could just end off with the Yiratzon at the end. Yiratzon lefanecha, Adonai Elohai, shikshin shavetanu, just as you have helped us finish Masechet Berakhot, kein tazreinu ladchil masechtot usfarim acherim, help us start other Masechtot, tractates, and books, and also if we want l'saimam, finish them. Lilmod, made to learn, to teach, lishmor v'lasol l'chem l'kol divrei Toratecha, be'ahava. I always emphasize doing all the Torah with love. Orach yamin b'minah, osher v'chavod b'smolah, long life and plentiful life, a full, honorable life. And Adonai oz la'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. God should give us strength and peace, God willing.
Amen.
It's just been such an honor, Ruth. Rachel, I'm turning it back to you.
Ahead. I just want to say, Asher and Ruth, thank you so much for being here and learning with us today and teaching us, and all your words of wisdom and strength and fortification for the time ahead and the tractate ahead.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you everybody who joined us.
Yeah, thank you all. It's so nice to be together.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi, and thank you, Rachel. And thank
Looking
you, the
forward to
people in
more.
the back.
Thank you. Kol too. B'hatzlacha, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. להתראות.